Alright, welcome back to my struggle of the week. Brought to you by Geritol. Shouldn't be that bad this week, I'm taking it easy. Well, distance-wise it should be respectable. Elevation should be close to nil if I remember correctly. I'm gonna be riding the Cedar Trail for my first video when I started quote unquote testing out this camera, when the exposure was all yucky. I still haven't really, I've settled I think on 0 or 1, and I still haven't really experimented further to see the best result as I'm satisfied somewhat with what I got now, and I don't want to go on a longer ride and make it worse. So I've kind of settled that this is probably going to be the best it's going to be. Going through downtown Renton again. Yeah, that elevation gain from last week, which was like 3150 or something, that really was a kick in the butt. I didn't think about it till later, but I was wearing my backpack and I had like a fair amount of weight in there, like a big bike lock and whatnot. So it was a good ride. Definitely a workout. I think my Garmin was giving me some interesting information too about overreaching, and even my Garmin, which is usually, my Garmin is like notoriously like, you didn't do crap, you know, on this ride. Even the Garmin was like, oh yeah, not bad. All right, so I see they finally got this road opened up under the bridge here. I don't have to go all the way around. Should be able to get right on the trail. Sorry. I'm a phlegmy kind of guy. I always got mucus to spit out, even though I quit smoking over 10 years ago. So today we'll go down to Cedar River all the way down towards Maple Valley, and then the trail forks off to the right and left. The left continues into Maple Valley, which I have actually never gone past the fork. And then to the right will be towards Covington, which is where I'm going to, I guess I should have went that way. Go through Covington and Kent, and then eventually get to Kent and go down to a little crescent wrench. Eventually go down to downtown Kent, and then I guess the main drag there will eventually run into Green River Trail. So I'm not even coming back through Kent like I have in the past, where there is, like, you know, about 3 or 4 good decent hills. But I'm I'm just gonna be, this is a relatively flat loop, aside from the, I think, a hill or two in Covington. There's a couple of pinch points. But this ride on the Cedar River here, all the way towards Maple Valley, there's some grass rolling hills and stuff, but nothing at all. I'm trying to predict what my elevation gain will actually be for this ride, and I bet like it's maybe like it ends up being like 1,000 feet. Even though the mileage, I could be wrong on that. Even though the mileage, I think, will be about 45 miles total. Maybe a little bit more, because I'm gonna reroute and go towards the Green River. That'll add on maybe a couple more miles. But aside from that hill in Covington, really, as you're going towards Kent, there's not too much going on. This is especially this first part here, is just a really relaxing ride. Today it's supposed to get about 80, which will be good. I got a little bit of a biker sunburn last week on the paleness. You know you're pale when you get a sunburn at 75 degrees. But I was near the water and I was out for like 8.5, 9 hours. It was when you live up here in the Pacific Northwest and you're in the 9 months of basically doom and gloom, as a Scottish Irish guy, you're gonna burn. You're gonna burn. Like in Arizona, I would have been absolutely fried. There's no way. Arizona, you have to get sunburn on every part of your body before you're good to go for the year. One thing I did indeed forget to do is I did not find that seat balm to try and get rid of this spring noise, which was a mistake. I forgot. I completely forgot until right now. And we're definitely making a lot of noise on this seat. It's starting to annoy me a little bit. Oh. Thinking I might take it easy on the music here, maybe if I turn it down somewhat, but I have been getting, like last ride I had 3 or 4 copyright strikes on songs, maybe 1 or 2 of them limited the area where people can view the video, but I typically, if there's a strike or something, I typically try to delete them all. But that, even with the editing tool, even with the YouTube editing tool, which is pretty darn cool, to be honest with you, how it can zap the music out of the video and keep your voice and other background. I haven't noticed it doing any damage, so I don't mind using that tool to get rid of songs. I'm still gonna listen to music when I ride. If I need to delete the stuff afterwards, so be it, but it does add time I mean, to add up last week's video, all the segments put in together was like 7 hours, which I usually let the PC do that overnight. And then when everything's ready to go, it takes a good 2 or 3 hours on YouTube to download it. And then each edition, well, yeah, I'd say that's probably it. Total. Then there's a conversion from SD to HD. And then each song segment that you want to edit out is an additional like hour. So it ends up being for the quality of these videos, which aren't very great, admittedly, they take a while to actually put that on there to get them posted. The finality, it takes a good chunk, it's a good 12 hours probably. It's like 3 times longer than the video now. It's at least double the length of the video to get them actually ready to go. So, just some background information there. Ain't nothing nice. Maybe if I had a better PC and much faster internet connection, it would probably cut that in half. That may be on the docket. Next year is getting a new computer. I've kind of been a victim of this new Windows 11 update that has been supposedly non-existent to Phison, and as far as affecting SSDs, but about the same time I downloaded that update, I've had boot loading issues ever since, where my only option a couple of times is a system restore, and then that disappeared. And fortunately, I was able to use a couple of the other emergency tools that after you boot your computer up 3 times. One was to restore BIOS to default, which I never even messed with it really, and a couple other things, but it's just been a pain. It's an interesting thing, because it won't be anything that's addressed. They can address and say, yeah, we've heard complaints about it, but you'll never hear anybody say, yeah, sorry. You never get that. What you'll get is eventually is they'll add some kind of workaround through word of mouth to possibly solve the issue if they ever find out what it is. Or they'll just load it up in a new update, but they'll never directly address, they'll never come out with an update and say this is fixing it, because if they admit to fixing something, then they have to admit that they messed it up, and that's just too much money and too much liability. They'll never do that. It's the world we live in, unfortunately. And when you're powerful enough, wealthy enough, you always have a team of super lawyers that can always cover your back. So good luck if you're just some peon and you're forced into upgrading to Windows 11 because they're getting rid of Windows 10 support, and now they conveniently run some hard drive destroying update. It all seems super convenient to try and, I mean, that's a conspiracy person in me. Because then what'll happen, somebody will have to get a new update. Most people don't back up their stuff, including me really, unless you're an IT nerd. Most people just, turn the power on, turn the power off. And now, if that code ruins your hard drive, well, you'll have to purchase a new license code from Microsoft. So doesn't hurt them, does it? I wonder what that license code is these days for like Windows 11 Pro or and if you have an old system that can adhere to the system specs for Windows 11, can you even load it up from scratch anymore? Because the only way to do that was the workaround, the initial Windows 11 workaround, or going into the command prompt, and I think there's a load of commands that will allow the Windows 11 to upgrade. So if it was a clean install, it might not even work unless your computer, I don't know. Rich people's problems, and I'm not even rich. That's why I say technology, the beauty of technology only equals the frustration of having to deal with it. It's always a yin and a yang. So it is supposed to be a high of 82 today. Look at this. Nobody on the golf course. Nice little water area. This is where me and the baby, I feel bad because I need to take the baby outside. I'll do that tomorrow before I go to the store. He hasn't been outside in a while. Next time I'll come this way and I'll bring him out to these soccer fields. He always likes the goalposts. But he's doing good. He's losing a lot of feathers lately. He's molting like crazy. But a little different in that he's losing a lot of big feathers. And that's been kind of concerning. I'm not talking like 1 or 2. I'm talking like 7, 8, 9. He's no worse for the wear. He looks great. There's new feathers coming in, but he's just lost a lot of big feathers. It's really making me paranoid because feather loss like that can be attributed to diet or parasites, but the cage has been good and he looks good and he acts good, so he has no problem flying. I've just been kind of collecting them. He's probably at the 6 or 7 year old year mark now, so maybe this is just a thing. He's only been sick that one time that made me like concerned for his health, and I think maybe that was either something he ate or a combination of it being hot out. being overly hot outside, and me not having the air conditioner on, but the window open, maybe my apartment can get brutally hot. Maybe that had an effect too. So now on hot days, I just put the thermostat to 79, 80. That way. And then I also, since I live in a small space, I block off the area where the cold air's blowing out, to where it doesn't create a breeze, but it's more just kind of a compounded deal. Look at that cell phone tower. So this is basically what this whole ride is going to look like here. I can go around. Yeah, why not? This way I don't have to wait for traffic. There's a little underpass. They'll add like a 70th of a mile onto my total. Let me check to make sure this camera's on. I always get paranoid, especially since last ride when the power went out. That was annoying to the extreme. Yeah, it's on. All right, we're in business. We're in business. The beauty business. All right. It's funny how many catchphrases and sayings and stupid stuff that you acquire from your parents. Hey, look, somebody put up a crow thing with feathers. That's interesting. On that tree trunk. This is the leaf line of after all. Yeah, let's take a look at this map real quick. But I'm saying, yeah, the goofy stuff you pick up growing up from your parents, the dumb lines and stuff's pretty funny. I am here. You were here. Or I existed, it should say. All right, so you can see, you come down. Which way am I going here? Is this south or? Yeah, here we go. This is where you go down towards Maple Valley. It does end up about a few miles past that fork, but here's the fork I was telling you about. And this ends up going by this Lake Wilderness Park. There's a little lake there. I think there's like an arboretum there too. And then it keeps going down here towards Black Diamond, but then you cut off towards Southeast Covington Sawyer Road, and that will take you to Lake Meridian over there, and then eventually Kent. Lake Meridian's kind of an interesting lake too. It's not very wide, it's kind of long. Like my Johnson. It's a joke. I don't need a copyright strike. Yeah, see, it's like this. There's a couple of, and I'm just chilling this ride, I'm just chilling. I thought about going kind of balls out, and I still could, I guess. But this ride was meant to be kind of get some sun, get the legs going back and forth, and just maintain. That's my goal. If the weather is decent, I want to at least try and maintain a consistency of being out once a week. while the weather's nice, because it's not gonna last very long. And I think I've lost close to 10 pounds. I was about 226, and now I've weighed myself and I'm close to 218, so about 8 pounds. That's all right. I was over 226, so you could say a lot. I'll just round it. I'll say 9 pounds that I've lost. Of course, I don't think my diet's changed much. I have been trying to cut out soda intake though. Ever since I got that acid reflux late at night, which felt hard, and that's another. I got to go buy some Tums, just in case. Sometimes if I'm watching a movie and I go, eat something, and it's late, I can get acid reflux, especially depending on when I rub down late at night. It's not a good feeling. With that soda, it was just like, I literally I got sick and then I felt better after it, but that's something I want to do. And soda's just horrible anyway. I absolutely love a Coke, but it's just bad for you. Man, my phone screen is pretty gnarly. Listen to some YouTube stuff. I'll have to keep the volume down though. Let's see if I get away with it.
How today's women just don't get it.
This is really nice right here too. I always thought this would be a cool place to this would always be a cool place to go gold panning, even though there's not really much gold in this river. But in the winter, this thing is usually up on the banks a little bit. You would think the summer it would be, but what is all that? But this area is really nice, even with these cut down trees. This is the lushness of Washington State. It's a nice house back in there. Look at that. Pretty nice. But yeah, this is a stark contrast to Arizona, that has its own unique beauty. It really is a beautiful state in a lot of ways, but Washington's just like the opposite of just greenery and growth and lushness. First, kind of the stark brown and yellows and reds of Arizona, where it seems everything bites and everything can stick you. Survival of the fittest. Lot. Yeah, the town I lived in, you never know when you be taking a shower or get ready to take a shower and you go in there and there's a scorpion in there, you know, on the shower curtain or the bathtub. I don't think I was ever bitten by a scorpion though. I could have been and I didn't know it. But I don't think so. Out of all the years I was there. Saw tarantulas a few times. Saw a centipede, which is the gnarliest thing in my opinion. Some of those big centipedes that are down there. I forget the exact name type. They had that one guy that did like the nature show on YouTube that would allow himself to get bit by various insects and bugs and stuff, and even like lizards. That guy was nutty. I watched it though, it was entertaining, but he did one, I can't remember his name right offhand, but he did one where he like let like a big centipede bite him. They have like the big mandibles and jaws in the front. And he had to tap out at the end. You don't want to get one of those. The thing about those is not only the poison they have and the bite they can, but they can wrap around your arm or a limb or finger or something, because they got like barbs on each leg. So this thing could be biting you and you can't even like pull it off of you without, you know, getting. And I'm sure those legs also have poison on them. They're just gnarly things. Like straight out of a Aliens movie or something. Those big centipedes, fire centipedes or whatever I can't remember what they're called. All right. I was just finished the Bloody Heroes, which I have like 2 videos about, but really enjoyed that. And then I started watching the Artifice Girl, which was interesting, and how AI used combat predators and stuff like that. It's interesting, kind of slow, real slow grind. I only halfway through it. I'm at the point where it's kind of like, all right, are we gonna get some action here? I guess I'm at the point where they were talking about transferring the consciousness of the AI that had gotten to a level of consciousness into a robotic body. So that's kind of where I clicked off last night. It was about 2 in the morning. Then I got into a debate with a seller on eBay. Oh yeah, I bought Big Fish on 4K. I love that movie. Such a great movie. But of course his listing said like new, pristine condition, yada yada. And I get the film, the discs are great, but the case is kind of, you know, you get those cases they send you and they're all like wrinkled and crap. Not only was it wrinkled, but it like had like a adhesive from a sticker on the spine. The guy's like, yeah, I bought it brand new, and Granted, sometimes you buy a new disc and the case has those slight wrinkles in it. I hate when that happens, but that adhesive just, and the overall condition, it wasn't just wrinkles, it was beat up somewhat. Yeah. It's telling them, yeah, the discs are in like new condition, but the case is in acceptable to good at best. So it's a tactic these guys will do. I'm not saying I'm the greatest seller, but I always try to put something in a brand new case. If I pick it up a secondhand store or thrift store or pawn shop or something and I'm trying to resell. So the case was bummy. Then the guy was trying to, I was just gonna send it back, get a refund through eBay's protection. And then the guy's like, well, I'll send you a $350 rebate. It'll pay for a new case, which in theory you're not going to be able to buy a new 4K case for $350 unless you get something at a pawn shop or secondhand place, and you can get it for like $4 or $5. And if you're fortunate enough to find something that's in really good condition. But so I was debating that, and the guy was like, you know, oh no, I sent it out, it was perfect. You know, they always do that. Like somehow in a padded mailer that's taped together, you know, all of a sudden the case went from like new to acceptable condition. It's ridiculous. So I knew you kind of know who you're dealing with at that point. Like, this guy's a liar. He put like nukes. So my problem was, and it's been fair enough in the past, is I typically try to only buy from listings where they actually take pictures of the, not, they don't use stock photos, and they actually take pictures of the item to know, so you can see exactly what you're getting. He had a stock photo. The thing was, his price was the cheapest, and he had 100% seller rating on like 700-800 items, and I'm thinking, oh, that's pretty good. But so he offered $350 as a partial rebate, and I was begrudgingly, I said okay. You know, because it would cost him for an item not as described case, the seller has to pay return shipping, and that's like to be like close to $4 or $5. I figured, all right, let this guy make some money, and I could get a partial thing for a new case. And then so then he goes, well, I can't partially refund you the $350 unless you cancel the return. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I don't think that's how it works. I think that's an option you should be able to have, because they want you to resolve the problem. They'd rather not, because then they lose whatever percentage of money they get on the sale. And I started, so I didn't respond right away, and I looked it up, and come to find out, he's all like, if you close this case, I'll give you that refund immediately. And I said, let me look this up, and then come to find out, if you cancel the return, that's it. Like, eBay can't get involved at all, and it's pretty much your SOL at that point. And I'm thinking, look at this. How many times has this guy done this to other people, where they just think like, hey, there's a duck over there. Yeah, it's really nice over here. But so he was trying to get me to drop the return, and then I absolutely guarantee you at that point that he would say see you later, and he wouldn't be liable to have to pay anything at that point. So it was a nice little tactic this guy, weaselly tactic this guy was trying to do, which only reinforced. I mean, when somebody has a listing and they tell you like new and it comes and it's not even close to that they're just kind of scumbags. So it didn't surprise me. And if the funny thing is, after I looked it up, I replied, no problem. Let's just return this thing. No problem. I'll just do a full return for a full refund instead. No biggie. Then he answered like, yeah, sorry for the inconvenience. And then 5 minutes later, I get the refund notice. All of a sudden you can send a refund now. So I just accepted the $350 because at this point, this guy was slimy enough that he'd try to say like, oh, I sent you a good code, because he was already angling about is the code still good? And I could see this guy trying to lie and say, oh, the code wasn't good when it was returned, or there was an issue, the return and tracking, or you're just making some kind of, he was just and the guy, I looked closer and he did have like one negative feedback from somebody else, but those are the kind of guys that like, oh, what is going on here? Okay, it's rerouted. When people do slimy tactics like that, they deserve the negative feedback. But now I accepted the $350 rebate, and I considered neutral. But what can also happen, which I've encountered in the past, is you should actually have two eBay accounts. One eBay account you purchase items with, and the other eBay account you sell items with. It will affect your feedback score as far as totality, but what happens is if you're using the same account to buy and sell, then people can they can be vindictive. And it's happened before where somebody you'll buy something that you return and give negative feedback because they're, a shitty seller. And then they will purchase from you and be vindictive and do the same thing to you, even though your product's completely legit and in great condition. And they'll typically, some of these people that sell a lot of bootlegs and do like that, they're network, so they just have they'll either have several accounts, or they'll have partners or whatever that are doing it too, and then they'll be the ones that purchase from you. It's all shady. Anyway, I watched the film. It was great. Film was fine. Case was crap. And most people would be like, but the film was great. It's like, yeah, but I'm a collector. That's why I'm spending, even cheap, the item was $16, $17. That's why I'm not getting it on streaming, because I'm a collector. I expect like new to be like new. Anyway, all right, done with that. So I was complaining, and we've gone almost 8 miles. Yeah, it's just more of the same of this, just kind of straightaway and right next to this road here. Yeah, that old metal bridge that closure that I ran into last week. Come to find out, they have another old bridge going down near Puyallup. It's like, Jesus. Like, it wasn't bad enough if you're having to commute to Seattle every day to deal with this traffic. But if you live in certain areas, man, it just makes it a real pain to have to get back down to south, especially at rush hour. I can only imagine. Hey! Some bicyclists going off down in the water there, that's cool. All right, still got the green light here. Yeah, I've been listening to this guy's channel recently. It's called Men Need to Be Heard. I dig on this guy. He's started to get quite a amount of views on his videos too. On this video alone, which seems to only put out a month ago, he's gotten 32K views. It's because the guy speaks the truth about a lot of the double standards that are going on out there as far as gender-wise. I used to know there used to be a Chewbacca statue out this way somewhere. Hey. Maybe we passed it already. As nice as it is right now, yesterday it was pretty overcast. Had like 20% chance of rain at certain parts. I don't think it ever did, but and then this morning it was kind of carrying over. It's burned through now, but every week it's kind of, I get that voice in the back of my head going, you know, maybe this would be a good week to rest and chill out. Today it was buzzing pretty loud. I really had to try to motivate myself, and it took me till about 1:45, so quite a late start. I didn't want to motivate. This is pretty nice here. Yeah, this side is kind of completely different from the Green River side. As far as I know that there's, right when you get on the trail here over in Renton, they had a homeless pseudo encampment. Some, you know, slight amount of people. Hey, look, there's a cow over there. Or is it a bull? It looks like a bull. It's next to the water bin. It's chilling. Oh, there's two. It's a cow. But once you get out of the Renton there ain't nobody out here. There's just nothing. There's no areas available. There's available to camp out, but just no stores or anything, resources around out here. No water. I noticed a lot of the birds that used to hang out near the bus stop, I haven't seen them around because they're doing a renovation there on the building there next to the Renton bus stop, and they had a fountain that would always be on, and of course, you know, people take a bath in there, and whenever you have something nice, people just got to mess it up. Like, there's no problem being homeless whatsoever. It happens. It happened to me. But you can't be a slob no matter what. It's an easy way out to like be a slob and expect somebody else to, and that's what a lot of what happened with that fountain. You get a nice fountain, it's already, you know, an issue to run and maintain the thing, and then you got people like being slobs and throwing their garbage all over the place. But it ends up indirectly affecting the birds and other things that rely on that water to get a drink or take a bath or whatever. It's starting to get warm out here now. Feels good. I'll stop talking now. Hey, what did I get? Somebody, oh! The feminist replied. What does she have to say? Oh, we got a lot of replies from feminists. Oh, of course. Pull over here real quick. Get some water. All right, so had a little water. I had to throw something back there in the comments. It's funny how you can make a comment that points out obvious double standards and hypocrisy, and it's just nowadays it's like completely triggering. Like you could say something with every logical thing going on. Sorry, I had to get some bugs out there, and somebody will get triggered by it. It's hilarious. Case in point, I think the article was talking about some kind of men's site where they were posting pictures of women or whatever, talking crap about them. And of course that turns into like, you know, like battery and all kinds of claims, which is, most of it is utter nonsense. But women's apps that basically do the same thing, except it's more character assassination stuff. They're fine, nobody ever, but you know, they have to shut a men's site down, but these T apps and all this other crap get open reign. And that's why most men are just saying, see you later at this point. It's either, to me, it's either you get rid of it all or you let both sides do it. I say get rid of it all. I think it's disgusting behavior, but you can't say what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander. I'm sorry. You want to post stuff, that's fine, and you want to create a gender divide by hiding behind anonymity and not allowing men to retort, that's even fine, but don't like cancel men's ability to do it. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Honestly, if you're disparaging somebody, you should have to face slander and legal ramifications for it. If it's posted in writing, without a shred of evidence or anything to back up a claim, you should be able to be sued for that. That's the way things used to be, like in publications and stuff like that. Even from petty sales, if you put something, ad in the paper saying, hey, we have a sale for this item at this price, then, and I've ran into that not too long ago, where I almost made a thing about it, but then I decided not to. And then you should be able to have to sell it for that price. Used to be accountability for like false advertising and stuff like that. I remember when I was a kid and my stepdad, there was like I want to say it was a ColecoVision, or was it the Atari 2600? I think it was ColecoVision or something. Yeah, I think it was ColecoVision. My grandfather had bought me at the time, like the Turbo game and Donkey Kong. This is like the advent of most of the game systems after Atari 2600. ColecoVision was like the first one that was like, whoa, this is actually more than, you know, an upgrade of Pong going on here. But we went and it was like a downtown store in Allentown, and they had said they were selling it for like $5 or $10 or something. Maybe $5, but it was like $50. And Buzz, who was My stepfather was a massive, pretty massive dude. We went in there. We ended up getting it for $5. They may have pulled it off the shelf at that point and said, "Oh, we're sold out." That may have been the answer, but we were the first to go in there. Got the game for $5. About 10 years ago, I was going to get some DVD minus R's, and I think it was at it was in Westwood Village. It wasn't at the, I can't remember the name of the place now. It wasn't Target, but it was like your Office Depot or something over there. I forget, it's not that, I don't think. It was something similar to that. And they had things in an aisle with the price on it, with the sale price, and I'm like, "Oh, cool, killer." This was longer than that. Maybe like at least 15 years ago. But they didn't want to honor the price, the sales price on there. The manager was like, "Oh, that's for tomorrow." But there was no date on it saying this is, it just said this is the price. What they were doing is they were just stocking up all their area early, but she refused to sell it to me at the discount price. And I could have probably pressed the issue further, but I just said to myself, "F you, chick." Okay, so we are, how many? We are 10 miles, almost 11 miles in. Yeah, we have a weird gender war going on right now. So it's a weird time to be around. It's best to just stay out of the fray. It's not worth it. Too much politics. The politics are crazy. Everybody's triggered. Everybody's in their feelings. Everybody's more of a jerk. That's why I don't subscribe to any political party. I think they're both nuts. The far left and far right, I think they're the same. They're just both nuts. I think most people that are living in reality are in the middle, and they recognize that. They also seem to recognize that nobody is advocating for them in particular. There's like no voice for people that think, that find a middle ground and think both extreme sides are Looney Tunes. One with all the woke nonsense, and then the other side not giving a shit about anybody. I think I've made this complaint in a video or two. I think when I go rambling on about things, I think I end up saying a lot of stuff I say in other videos. I don't got a lot to say, I guess. If you ask me about anything, I'd give you a decent opinion about whether you agree with it or not, but if I'm just rambling, I think I end up covering the same things over and over again, and that's all right. So, with that river there in the bridge, we're starting to get close to the fork in the road here. And I know when you take that right turn at the fork, it goes up a little hill, and then you're on the end of the paved road. Ends up being more of a dirt road, which is okay too. It ain't that bad. But like, this thing is mighty. Like the amount of asphalt and stuff they lay down for this thing, it's a beautiful trail. It really is. I mean, riding around King County or in the Seattle area, you got a lot of cool different routes to take. I'm sure I haven't explored them all. I think this is it here. Yep, this is where the paved road stops. Speaking of the devil, it stops regardless whether you go left or right. So there's the hill. And this is the Cedar River Trail, continues until Maple Valley, then it ends about another couple miles. So we'll go up this way. Unfortunately, if I get out of the saddle, I'll end up spinning out on these rocks. So I just have to stay seated. See, green to Cedar Rivers Trail. So I thought when I first saw that, oh, this will lead me right. This is a trail that leads you right to the Green River Trail. Contraire, mon frere. It might, but I don't think so, because I think I looked. And this continues south. I know there's a another loop if you go straight and don't turn off where we're going to turn off. I think it ends up going a loop that there is a substantial hill down there of elevation gain. I think it's like I want to say like 1,800 feet. That is a massive hill. If that is a all-in-one stretch. And I'm definitely not doing that today. But I may look it up in the future. So I took a picture here a while ago. I like this underpass, has a cool shape to it. Like a big culvert or something. Some of this on. Make sure I turn this down. Oh, no signal. No signal. Oh, I thought I sold something. I just got a notification. Nope. Agreed. No. All right. I'll spare you that. I do like that guy though. We'll put the music on now. Maybe if I keep it low, I won't get this. It won't get read by the microphone as well. I'll try that. Jesus. All right, they're about 13 miles in now. So I got a bunch of cool trails down here. A lot of pictures and placards. Looks new. I don't remember that. Yeah, look at all those. Maybe that's part of the arboretum there, or whatever that is. Yeah, here's the lake down here. Look at that, huh? There's a boat landing over there. It's one thing about Washington too. There's just a ton of lakes everywhere. Look at that. Pretty cool. Is this Steely Dan? Yep. It's like a cross-country team or something. That's a lot of kids running. Good for them. All right, now I know we're starting to get close here. I think this bridge down here, I gotta look at Google Maps. All right. Oops, sorry. Where is this now? Okay. You're good. Thank you. Okay, so I have to be getting close here. I'll assume that's the way I need to go. I think it is. Yes. So, sorry, I had to look that up for a second. Okay, so at the bottom of this hill, I think we'll need to turn off there. I'll be doing a fair amount of some sidewalk riding and stuff. I think there's a decent sized hill here as you get into Covington, and then it's kind of various degrees of slight rolling. But yeah, I think this is it down here, if I'm not mistaken. Which will be actually nice to get off this gravel. Yeah, this is it. So this is it. Yes. I think it is. Yes. Yes, this is the way to go. All right, so off the trail on the road. I should activate, I'm gonna pull over and activate my rear camera now. Have some water real quick. All right, there we go. Now, if we don't have the same problem we had last ride, there we go. There we go, now it's activated. Saying it's 83 degrees right now. I'm glad I turned on the AC for the bird, because 83 inside my apartment can translate real quick to 90 degrees. Apartment gets hot. In the winter it's great. Summer not so much. I'm gonna wipe off my glasses too real quick. Kind of getting greasy. Yeah, this is a pretty cool loop. We got a ways to go yet though. It's a long one. See, this kind of shoulder is great, but I'll expect it to fluctuate. Maybe I forgot about some of these hills. I forgot. All right, well, c'est la vie. I forgot about this hill. There's probably more I forgot about too. Is this where that market is? No, this is the hill that I remembered. It's not that, it's okay. Why is it on the hills they always have the least amount of shoulder? All right. Not that bad. I did stay in the saddle on that. Started feeling it at the top. Jesus. No shoulder, no sidewalk, no nothing. Okay, it opens back up. Kinda. What I really don't want here is a flat tire. Like I am in the middle of nowhere. And even though I did bring the patch kit, and I should have everything I need, I'm not positive about that. I have the pump on the side, but changing a tire, especially a rear tire, is a real pain. Or patching it is a real pain to get that back tire off. So I think at some point this may be it. They had like a bridge that looked like an old trestle, and they were doing work on it, and it became a real narrow pinch point. There was no shoulder, and you have to get into traffic. That's definitely coming down here, maybe the next mile or two. But that was years ago. Maybe the construction's finished. We'll find out. In the meantime, I'm liking this hill right here, going down. Going down's always nice. Look at this. Is there another? Yeah, we got another hill going, a gradual hill going up. That's all right. leg's feeling it there a little. Have to go back into chill mode here. Yeah, after this light is when it goes downhill again, and I think that bridge is down there. I could be wrong. This rat? I can't tell. Yeah. Well, I guess I was wrong. I guess maybe this is it right here. They certainly fixed it up nice. I gotta find out where I'm going here. Maybe it is a straight shot. I think it is. Okay. Yeah, straight ahead there. Meridian Park, and then you can see it kind of turns up to the right, heads towards Kent. Making decent time on this main road before I have to ride on the sidewalk now. It gets too tight with these cars. I'd rather ghetto ride than get into traffic with aggravated drivers usually. Oh, it's sunny now. Feels great. Come on, motherfucker. This Avicii song, I think that's how you pronounce his name, the DJ that killed himself, this Hey Brother song. This song would have been like one of the all-time greatest country music songs of all time if you would have just stayed in country land. Seriously. Come on, you guys gotta fucking... Yeah, because this beginning is like the greatest country song ever. One of them. And then it goes off into like a disco kind of thing. Even this is okay, kinda. But then it gets like completely deviates. He should have just stayed with what he was doing. But what do I know? He ain't around anymore anyway. I don't know why he killed himself. I don't know much about him. It's a tough world for guys out there. Don't off yourself. knee's acting a little weird right now. Come on, man. God damn it. Lazy. Behind the fucking wheel. Lazy. All right, up this hill, I guess, is where Lake Meridian is. Just want to make sure I'm not getting lost. Yeah, a little too close for comfort. I'll stay on the sidewalk here. Even though it does stink, you gotta... I'd rather have the minor inconvenience of getting clipped in the back tire. See, it's the only thing that stinks is you gotta do these little round of sidewalk deals and watch out for people. I think at Lake Meridian there's like a water fountain too. I'll refill one of my water bottles here, it's almost empty. Pearson, huh? Thank you. Maybe I was wrong. No, it's coming up. The lake's coming up. It's after this little minor hill here. Fix your exhaust, buddy. Sounds like shit. And here's the lake. Oh, Scott Whelan, that sounded like Thrill Kill Cult or something. City of Kent hiring. So I guess it's technically we're in Kent now. This is Lake Meridian. Kind of cool name. Cool, kind of cool lake. They should have a water fountain down here. Is it down there? Hoping they have a water fountain here. Is that it down there? Let's go down there. That's not a water fountain? Shit. All right. Let's check up here. Oh, there's a water fountain right there. All right. Let's fill this up and get out of here. And there we go, a little bit of water. All right, that one sucks. And this one is better. All right. It's kind of cloudy. Water's cloudy, but I don't care. All right. Let's get out of here. Ugh. I didn't want to interrupt the video, but I also don't want to look like a creep either. Yeah, this is a pretty mellow park. Maybe next time I'll cruise around that way. It probably meets up at some point back on the road at the end, but I want to get out of here as quick as possible. It's actually pretty darn large. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, like if you were driving by here, you wouldn't even realize it was, you probably wouldn't even see it. But it's a good, decent sized lake. I guarantee you real estate ain't cheaper around that thing. Probably pricey if you have a view. So now it's just more rolling hills until you get to Kent there. I forget, I don't know what that high school is over there, but that's basically where that hill starts going down. I usually would take a right and start heading up towards the thrift store there and back home. But we're gonna go down to, we're gonna connect to the Green River and come back that way. That'll give me probably extra five miles, maybe 10 miles tacked on. But less hills overall too, so win-win for me. Like I said, this is a chill ride today. I just want to put the time on the bike. And we're on mile 21. Could make the argument this is about halfway. Slightly less than halfway. I'm gonna guess and say that the mileage today ends up being about 45 miles. I could be wrong. He wasn't happy about that. Man, nice day out today. No doubt about it. Thanks. See, I wish this thing had a dedicated bike lane. I'd make a lot better time, but that's all right. It's still a relatively cool ride either way. Ah.
for?
What's that?
A dash cam on a bike?
Yeah. I just used, I turned it on because I came up the Cedar River Trail. And then when I come on the road, I like to just have it just in case.
Oh, okay.
You know,
And then you got your forward loop.
yeah, I got the forward one. I did a big loop last week and ran out of power, so it's nice to have the backup bit once I get off. See you later. I remember one time I got on the wrong bus. I ended up not realizing it, I was on my phone. It dropped me off way down there, and I remember walking up this way to re-catch the correct bus, and I was just it was just that night it was dumping rain, and I was just getting soaked. Wasn't a good time. All right, we should be getting close here. Yeah, relatively close. A clothing and food bank, that's cool. I wonder what all those people are doing there. For a while I did the little food bank circle with my ex. That's probably why she's my ex. Wow. Thank you. All right, so we're here. Familiar territory. See, now if I make a right up here, I would be heading home, but I gotta tell you, that water tastes funny. Ugh. Oh, come on, what is going on here? Submarine. About to turn this off before I get a copyright strike. Don't dare play Beatles shit. On to cross. Whoa. Funky place for a bump in the sidewalk there. I remember having to use the bathroom so bad one time at this bus stop. I had to run over to McDonald's. They were closed during COVID, and there was a bar over in that plaza. There's a bar over in that plaza I had to duck into. I basically was like, had to walk by like I was nonchalant and go in the bathroom, and I was gonna come out and give the guy $1, say, hey, thanks, I had to use the bathroom. And you know what, I'm gonna get on the sidewalk here, I don't like this. Maybe this might open up more, but I'll go on the sidewalk. I know this is a big downhill right here, but see, look at that. Eh, I don't like that amount of room. Oh, okay, of course they're calling that. And I was gonna give the bartender, say, give him $1 to say thanks. I don't want to be like a straight person coming in, but then I realized I didn't have $1. And I had to like sneak out with my head between my legs. but you got to do what you got to do. It's funny the things you remember that popped into my head. They also used to have a Goodwill out there. But it closed. It's always overpriced, but still. Ended up moving up down here into a less desirable location. I'd say over the last 15 years, they've had just a ton of different thrift store locations shut down. I used to have everything routed. Whoa, I almost dumped it there. Man, I was lucky. I wasn't paying attention. Had my hands almost slipped off the brake right there. But thank you. But I used to have a bunch of different areas mapped out where I could hit, like, you know, in one bus route or a couple bus routes, I could hit, like, you know, 4 or 5 places. It made it worthwhile. So if you didn't find stuff in the first couple places, you might get lucky the 3rd or 4th or 5th one. But then they started closing everything down, and it became to the point where the 5 stops ended up being 2 stops in a lot of the routes. I mean, in a good amount of them. Oh, shit. Almost wiped out. Thank you. Man, it's an adventure coming down this hill. So now you're taking a bus, 2, 3 buses going all the way to the other side from far south Seattle to far north Seattle for the opportunity of 2 stores that may not have anything. At least with 5 stores, yeah, you know, your odds were a lot better. So I've been lessening my DVD trips. I do need to go on another one because it's been a minute, but the incentive definitely, a lot of these places started selling online too. So they filter all the good stuff and put all the bunk stuff on the shelves. I call it mud. All the mass-produced DVDs and stuff, I call that mud. It's a bunch of stuff most people, they either already have or they don't want. Bunch of mud. I like that rare stuff. Give me rare DVDs, documentaries, whatever, as long as it's rare. So that was a ghetto ride down that hill, but again, I'm all about trying to be safe here. I gotta work for a living. I've gone to this Wendy's a bunch of times over the years. It's actually a nice sit-down Wendy's. There's hardly anybody in there. I always sit in front of the window here. A couple people. They got the right idea. So exactly where I sit. There's a couple DVD places down here. I usually go to the St. Vincent de Paul. Every now and then you can find something. It's usually pretty barren though. I think they also filter out the good stuff. Everybody does now. When I started buying and selling a little bit online, there used to be people at that point had like blown off DVDs and movies and media like that. There was a point in time when nobody was there. It's like laughable to buy the DVDs, but then it created an uptick again. Lady in that black dress looked gaunt. Storm alert? When is that? Doesn't look like a storm alert yet. Maybe tonight. I'll have to look on the phone right now. So in theory, I've never come this way all the way down. This is supposed to eventually run into the Green River Trail. I know the interurban trail should be really close, but I'm not doing that. We'll get on the Green River Trail and come back. Should be a pretty mellow ride back coming on there. Just a mellow. I don't think I'm gonna break 1,000 feet. I think I'll be lucky if I break 600 feet an elevation gain. Just not much elevation, and that's good. I'm happy about it. Man, that water tastes like shit. Note to self, I'm gonna go use that water. I know there's another place on the Green River, if we haven't passed it, that has good water. But the water at that water fountain is kind of stanky. Has like you can almost smell it before you drink it. It's like, what is that? There's like a scent. Okay, come on, dude. Ah, there we go. Thank you. Yeah, because this should be this is interurban trail right here. I could call this a wrap and come back this way. There is a decent headwind, but let's put that extra couple miles in and take the Green River. All right. So, yeah, only 26 miles in. This is easy money. If all those people shows you how the importance to having access to water. If you're a street person living like in a tent or out in the elements, you need access to drinking water. Period. Okay, so this should, in theory, do a roundabout and then go under here, and then should be a straight shot to the Green River. Oh, and here's a bike lane too. I can get off the sidewalk finally. Thank you. What time is it? And it is 4:30. I've never come down this far. What's this place? Yeah, I'm not riding here or anything. Fucking dumbass. This place. Okay, honestly, this is about to sound real dumb. This may be the first Circle K I've ever seen in Washington. I mean, I could be wrong about that. I probably am wrong about that. But I don't remember seeing a Circle K in Washington. It's the first one. All right, I gotta look at the map here. I was under the impression I was getting close. I still maybe that bridge over there is the...
Wait.
I gotta take this thing off too, or see if I can stabilize it. It's starting to fall down again. I had this thing pretty good. I don't know why it's doing that again. It should be tight. Come on. Okay, where's... Okay, so I am getting close. This is West Meeker Street, and I think maybe another block or two, it will run into maybe even less than that. No, I know exactly where we are now. Okay. This is where it goes down. Well, I still got a little ride then. $27.10. Yeah, the golf course. Good. I know right after the golf course, I think that water stop is there. I'm gonna dump this other water out of my bottle. Tastes like crap. Yeah. What's the temperature today? 84 degrees. Man, the weather forecast right on time. It said earlier 83 or 84 at 5 o'clock, and it's just about 5 o'clock now. 4:44. So back in the day, the weather forecast, they weren't sure if it'd rain or not. Now they got it down to a science. cool bridge. I wonder what goes that way. We'll look that up later when I go home. Maybe another potential route someday. And it's Tears for Fears. They were awesome back in the 80s. I forgot about this song, Change. It's a good song. Man, that guy shanked it. Maybe I was wrong about the water fountain. I thought it was right down here, but I thought wrong. Maybe it still is. We'll see. I think it still is. No. It's funny, the optics makes this look like all downhill, and it is, but not as much as you think. about it. Thought I saw somebody down there. like my silhouette there, yeah. Total American badass, state of the badass arts. Look like a Borg. That's the camera coming off the side of me and the wire. We are Borg, we are one. Starting to get a little tired, a little tight in the legs. It's always around the 30-mile mark, and we're exactly on 30 miles. Never seems to fail. It's just being 55, I guess. I mean, because this hasn't been a hard ride. It's been a pretty easy ride. I think I felt better last week, which is weird. I should be gaining in strength, right? I don't know. Hello. Gotta mess around with another man. Alright, what did I get? Evening briefing. Ugh. Now messing around town. Be free. Oh, there's the water stop. Okay. Yeah, let's hit that up. Incredible. How do people say yes? He's the best. Know it. About time that I show it. Now that I'm in charge. Incredible. Oh no. Oh, there we go. All right. Get rid of that stinky water. I get down. Oh, base. This song didn't get the props it deserved because of It Takes Two. It was such a massive hit, but this song's cool. I think his DJ died not too long ago. Rob Bass's DJ. Break it. That's what I was going to make it. Okay. We're already down here. I know this feeling just ain't right. Bow, bow. Long time ago. I remember when this album came out, this was kind of a big deal. Get a little headwind going here. Automobile. For my love there is no measure. Doo-doo. Yeah, nice mellow ride today. Be home in a decent time. Still got a little workout. My legs are, for a relatively flat ride, my legs are somewhat sore, so I couldn't imagine going another 6 miles and then doing Vashon Island like I did with a bike, with a pack, with a bike weight and other weight in there I forgot about. I'm definitely not as strong as I was last week. I have to tell you, if I had enough access, I'd consider doing like testosterone therapy. I think I'm low on testosterone. All right. Maybe I'm still affected from last week. I don't know. Uh-oh. Ugh. Man, my foot's hurting today. I wonder if this shoe's finally crapping out. All those shoes I got last week, none of them fit right, but my foot is hurting now. Like this shoe is finally taking a dump on me. It's weird. Damn it. Okay, come on, guys. Right behind you. So we're at almost 38 miles. I said 45. I'll be wrong on that, but probably like 42. It's interesting graffiti. The camera's gone. All right. Sounds like the cars. but I've never heard this song. Yeah, it's the Cars. All right, we're getting close now. Yeah, slightly over 40 miles, so respectable. For me, anything over 40 is like, that's a good day. Even if it was a relatively easy ride, I'm still a little burnt out. But as always, I'm always happy that I went out the front door. Now I can go get a steak, I think, from Wally World. Go get a steak and a couple of toffee ice cream. Yeah, baby. Alrighty then, till the next time.